The next period we're dealing with is known as the Archaic, and you're going to see lots of smiling figures. We'll get into that in a minute. This is roughly 600 to about 480, 490 BCE. Now that date, 480, 490, is the Persian Wars. So 490 is the Battle of Marathon, where they're all fighting each other with goo packets and Gatorade bottles. And 480 is the Persian invasion. Think 300, the Battle of Thermopylae, etc. And this is a rather prosperous period. Both commerce and colonization is increasing. And when they're colonizing areas, they're really setting up a trading colony, sort of a free trade area. And then they expand from there. And the Persians are allowing this because they like the trade with the Greeks, with Europe in general. And the Greeks control so much trade that it really does make sense. Now, one of the things we see is a development of statuary. The first one we see there on the left is our Apollo, which we looked at under the Orientalizing period. And you can see, as we move to the right, the development of the human form to something that is very, very realistic. And what we're going to see are the use or the creation of koros, or plural, korai. A koros is simply a statue of a standing nude youth. These are the earliest nudes, or among the earliest nudes, that we see in Greece, and they are always male nudes. The female form is not seen as entirely human, and therefore, and women are not seen as entirely human. They're basically property in the Greek world, and therefore we see nude males well before we see nude females. They tend to be very linear. They tend to use a lot of pattern, a lot of modeling, sort of conventional forms that we'll see developing over time. We see ornamentation, and we see something that is sort of impassive, whereas the Korai are statues of the female form, women, and these are going to be typically clothed, typically much more conservative in terms of what you're looking at. The clothing really doesn't show the body form underneath it, whereas the male is always going to be nude. And again, it shows us that gender inequality that we see in ancient Greece.